Milwaukee against the Bucks, 103 to 101. They now trail the Bucks 2-1 in their best of 7 series. I am Josue Pavon alongside Bobby Manning. Let's talk about Jayson Tatum, right? That's what everyone's talking about here. What do you think happened, Bobby? I mean, for Tatum, finished with 10 points here. What was it, 4 of 18 from the floor, 4 of 19 actually, 0 of 6 from behind the arc. Clearly his worst performance of the postseason this year. What do you think happened? Like, why couldn't he get it going, especially in that fourth quarter? You had Jalen, getting hot. Al Horford was the MVP, in my opinion, for the Celtics. What happened with Tatum against the Bucks?
It's a continuation of the struggles we've seen from him this whole series. Now, he did a better job in the first 2 games of passing out of it, especially in the first half of Game 2, setting up others, getting the weak side guys involved, and getting Grant Williams' 6 threes in Game 2 that ends up making Tatum look great out of that game. Still think he passed well in this one, but he didn't look for his shot enough. And when you have Wes Matthews on you, and he's essentially tagging you the whole game, you got to do a better job than that. And that was one of the things. I was very torn on who to pick in this series, but I leaned Celtics, and one of the big reasons why was Chris Middleton's absence and the fact that Wes Matthews, Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen, those kind of guys were going to be guarding Tatum. He could take advantage of those matchups. Yeah. He hasn't been able to. They're playing the screens well. I don't think the Celtics have screened well all that much in this series, and I don't think Tatum has gotten to his spots with confidence and tried to overpower guys in the lane, still get those paint touches even though they're collapsing, being aggressive looking for a shot. And he said there were a few shots in this game that he felt like he should have let go, but he was overthinking a little bit, and he definitely came away from this one really disappointed with the poise he showed. It was a bad performance.
Yeah, it was. It certainly was. And, Bobby, it's funny because I thought what was one of the things that stood out to me in Game 2, back in Boston, was that he sort of took his time, right? He had 10 points at halftime, but he was stacking up assists. He was reading the offense, and then he knew it was time to attack. He picked his spots, and I was looking for that same sort of approach in the second half, and it just never happened. I do think the Bucks shifted their defense a bit. I feel like he was getting more different guys being thrown at him, but yeah, you said, Matthews was the main one that was really, making him uncomfortable, forcing him to do things that he didn't want to do. Ime Udoka talked about how from his perspective, he thought that he was rushing shots, wasn't getting those open looks or passing up those open looks rather, and that was something that he doesn't think will carry over into Game 4. But what does he need to do, or what does Ime rather need to do to sort of free him up? Like, in your opinion, what do you think the Celtics can do to make things easier for him on offense?
They're going to have to get him off the ball a little first off. We haven't seen much of that in this series. And Brown, luckily, the way he's able to get to the rim, it's a good starting point to do that. You can have the ball in Jalen's hands a little bit more. Have Tatum rolling downhill. The tough part is you're rolling into a crowd. And Tatum has to get better at being able to get those paint touches and play out of that crowd. I thought sometimes he was a little too slow to get the ball out of there. Sometimes too slow to see that he had space and pull up, especially around screens at the top. Remember that 76ers series in the bubble? They played a drop and beads in the paint. You can't really get inside, but you can bounce around a screen, pull up, and drill threes over and over again. That's what he did in that series. That's what the Celtics did so well in that sweep. The same shots are here for them in this one, and they have to convert them. They have to hit their threes again. We knew those were going to come back to earth, and they did in a big way in this loss. And for Tatum, it's been an up-and-down shooting year, but he's on the hot end of it. He needs to believe in that shot and shoot a lot of them. I mean, you'd like to see him shooting a lot of threes. It's a shot he's good at, and the space is there. And these defenders they're throwing at him are shorter than him. Drew Holiday, Matthews, all those wings. Giannis isn't guarding him, and Middleton's nowhere to be seen. So he needs to be better at getting his shot off. Sherrod said it to me in the press room. They're going to need a 40-50 bomb out of Tatum in this series.
No question.
The equivalent of what Giannis did tonight. Tatum's capable of it, and it needs to happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. I think we all going into these 2 games here in Milwaukee knew that we would get that Giannis game. We knew that Giannis was going to give you one of the. We didn't know which one, but of course it was here in Game 3 where he got his 40-piece over the Celtics. But to your point about Jayson Tatum, to see his adjustments, I feel like to see that adversity in the postseason again. After everything we've seen from him throughout the course of the regular season, his maturity level at this point, like, I'm really looking forward to seeing him bounce back. And you mentioned the 3-point shot, the 3-point touch. We knew realistically 23 pointers in Game 2. Celtics probably wouldn't come close to that, and that was the case here in Game 3. But someone else who also struggled from behind the arc and on both ends, to a certain extent, would be Grant Williams, right? Grant Williams finished with 6 3-pointers in Game 2. I didn't expect that to translate into Game 3. I didn't expect that to carry over, but I did expect to see some more of that stifling defense that we saw him, against Giannis, especially on an island in a lot of those plays in Game 2. We didn't get that in Game 3, Bobby. What happened there?
Giannis Adjusted for sure. Getting downhill more speed, more contact, embracing that in the lane and drawing foul calls. I also think he had this kind of, Euro step move that was able to dodge him in the lane and keep guys off balance.
Euro step, or I thought that was the Giannis elbow and shoulders through the guy in front of me move. I didn't know that was a Euro step. All right, I learned something new today.
He took a lot of shots. There was a little bit of everything mixed in there. As for offense, wow, was Grant aggressive. And think of aggressive in good ways. There were a lot of bad ways that Grant was aggressive in this one, too. Attacking one-on-one in the lane, trying to dribble inside and score in there. Took a lot of shots, dribbled a lot out of those corners. And he made good plays out of there at times, but his shot didn't fall. And even though he was able to draw a big foul, I think it was the third foul on Giannis before halftime in that spot, overall he wasn't giving them much on the weak side. And guys still committed to him, but he wasn't really able to make them pay in that spot. And you think of the officiating, not getting back on defense, those moments, those stuck out. They actually called a timeout for Ime to lay into Grant for that. And then other circumstances where he was just too aggressive and too opportunistic out there. Yeah. Ime says it over and over again. He has a small role. They want him to stick to that and keep it simple. And I think Grant, after a big game, tried to reinvent the wheel a little bit out there from the corner.
Bobby, I gotta follow up with that. I'm not going to say, do the Celtics need Grant to win the next game? But what I'm trying to say is, we always talk about how thin this bench is, and I thought Game 3 we saw a little bit of that. Obviously, when Grant's struggling offensively, Peyton Pritchard seemed like he didn't even play out there. Derek White, another inconsistent performance, at least scoring-wise. I know you Derek White fans out there. Well, he doesn't always show up on the box score. Well, offensively, he seemed like it was, we were missing him a little bit out there. So I guess what I'm trying to ask you is Grant Williams that guy where you just need something from him coming off the bench? Otherwise, are the Celtics in really tough shape if you don't get a solid performance out of Grant in Game 4?
He's got to be solid. That's all they really need. They don't need him to be great. They need him to be solid, steady. Again, he's a bench guy at the end of the day. They need Rob to be better. I think Smart needs to be much better. He didn't handle his facilitating role all that well in this game, nor did he score. A bunch of guys need to step up their game, and White, as you said, did it here. Brown, excellent. Horford, awesome. Couldn't have done it without him. And Pritchard, maybe you need to sprinkle in a little bit more of his shooting there. He did play a very limited amount of minutes. So
that's fair.
Everybody's got to step up right now. And luckily you come out of this game feeling great about two guys. Two guys are a little closer, and Grant's been playing well. Rob started strong, struggled late. And White and Smart, those two, White made ground up today. Smart just got back in the lineup after the injury. Those two need to round this out as the playmakers, and they're the ones that need to make it easier for Tatum, setting him up and getting this offense going, because right now, this series, you feel good about the defense. It's held strong, and you hold the Bucks to 103 here. You feel great about that. The offense has been incredibly stagnant, and a lot of guys need to be better to fix that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will see how the Celtics respond in Game 4 here at Milwaukee Monday night. This segment of the Guard Report is brought to you by HelloFresh. Head over to HelloFresh.com/playoff16 and get yourself hooked up, all right? You got 16 free meals, 3 gifts.
3 free gifts.
3 free gifts from HelloFresh. And, of course, just the freshest meals that you can think of. And they got a little something for everybody, right? I say we now. I'm such a huge HelloFresh guy. Anything you want in terms of options, there's something in there for everyone. Again, it's HelloFresh.com/playoff16.
I miss it. We're on the road. We don't have it with us.
Oh, I'm going to have some more when we get back, though, man. I'm telling you, I barely, the last couple of weeks, I haven't even gone grocery shopping thanks to HelloFresh. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/playoff16. That's going to do it for us here at Milwaukee. For Bobby Manning, I am Josue Pavon. We'll see you back Monday night, back here for Game 4. And for your mothers out there, take it easy tomorrow, all right? Happy Mother's Day, all right? Don't even think about the Celtics. We'll revisit Monday, and we'll pick up this conversation then after Game 4 here at Milwaukee. Head over to clnsmedia.com for continuous coverage. And, of course, follow us on YouTube at CLNS Media. And we'll see you Monday night.